This workshop is on steps 7, 8, and 9, and we have 2 speakers today, and you have volunteered to go first.
Huh?
You volunteered to go first?
No, second.
Second, that's right. I'm sorry. Karen?
Thank you, Melanie.
You're welcome. How are you?
Sometimes those things are better left to be told later, huh? Okay, so I'm going to stand up. Thank you, Tori. My name is Karen, and I am an addict.
Hi, Karen.
And I want to thank GRCNA for having me up here. My heart's at GRCNA, and my first GRCNA was 7 years ago. I was 3 days clean. And so, come hell or high water, I'm at GRCNA every year. I have not missed one since I've been clean. And I admire the people that do the work on this committee, because this is no easy task, trust me. I've sat in on some of their meetings. It's quite interesting. I want to welcome you ladies. It's amazing for you to be here, because the most unnatural thing for an addict is to not use drugs. And for all of us to be sitting in this room trying not to figure out how to go gank somebody, trick, who I'm going to take with me to go rob them while I'm in the bedroom with them, those kind of things. That's where Karen comes from. Don't let this confuse you. This doesn't look anything like my story. I was asked to do this workshop on steps 7, 8, and 9. And I've heard a lot of talk over the years about, the fourth step, and I can't not talk about the 4th step or the 5th step or any of the steps and just talk about 7, 8, and 9, because every step prepared me for 7, 8, and 9. Because I was real confused about who I was when I got here. I had no clue who I was. I really thought I was a very kind and passionate, loving person. I made sure my children were taken care of no matter how strung out I was. I mean, I went to work. It's kind of scary. Some folks are more, what do they call it? When you're in active addiction and you can still function, a functioning addict. Some of us do that better than others. And I was real good at masking, very good at masking. It's only because of the people in this room that I'm allowed to show my true self. It's only because of the steps that I've been able to show who I really am. I can take all of my masks off. And because that, I can allow you to be right where you are. I can allow you your human condition, because I finally have accepted me and mine. And I did not realize I had not done that until I started doing the steps. Step 7 is talks about humbly asking God to remove my shortcomings. When I got to step 6, which was becoming entirely ready, that was a huge aha moment for me. Step 4 to me was easy. You want me to put down who I'm pissed off at? Every entity, every human being, piece of cake. And I did it. Boy, that was easy. I didn't understand it. Of course, I had a huge problem of thinking I was different from everybody, so if everybody's saying it's difficult, I'm going to say it's easy. If you say it's easy, I'm going to make it hard. I was real good at those kind of things. So what I ended up doing was making this huge list in step 4 of everything in the world, every tree, every dog, every person, every judge, every lawyer, every counselor, every jailer, every person I'd been in a relationship, my parents, my family, my brothers, everybody fell on the list. And I've heard a lot of times, that list is what we use to generate to go into the steps 7, 8, and 9, and that is true in part. But when I was standing there with myself, God, my higher power, and my sponsor, the first time I did the steps, because I did them several times, I had a list, a laundry list of adjectives that described Karen. And they were not the list that I walked into this program with in my head. I found out a lot of things about me. I was very aloof, and that's dangerous. And if, I didn't understand it, but every time somebody would speak to me or tell me something or want to share something, whether it was in a relationship, a boss or whatever, and my mind said, whatever, I was being aloof and I was minimizing the value of what was being said to me, because that's me thinking I know what's best. I found out that I detach. I thought it was like letting people be who they were, just letting people be who they were. But how can I walk in the spiritual principles of brotherly love, of forgiveness, of acceptance? When I walk past you because you shared something in a meeting I didn't even agree with, I judge that way. People, and I used to listen for those things that I didn't agree with, because that would separate me. That was my disease, separating me. My disease wanted to find out everything you said, whether it was a speaker at a convention, in a meeting, or whether somebody just sharing on a topic. My brain and my head, my disease, focused on what did not apply to me. Because my disease wanted to compare me out of the room. It wanted me to think, this is not for me. This is just not going to work for me. And I was told to start listening for the things that were familiar, that I could relate to, because I needed to allow myself to become a part of this if I wanted to recover or start recovering. So when I got to step 7, after this laundry list of things that described me, and I had spent 2 years in the room before I truly surrendered, and I didn't do the steps. I really didn't think they could make any difference. Just take the dope away. And I didn't use any dope, and I didn't do any steps for 2 years. And I was angry, and I was bitter, and I was hostile to people. I wasn't approachable. I mean, truly, nobody would even get in my space here, because I had a wall up that I didn't even know. And that's what the steps did, was break that wall down. And I ended up using again. And I say that because I want to hope, instill in people that just being in, we hear meeting makers make it, and I'm here to tell you that's not necessarily true. Because I made a meeting every day, and the day I relapsed after 2 years of going to meetings every day, meetings didn't keep me clean. I owned every piece of literature that NA World prints. That didn't keep me clean having it. I didn't do the work. So when I got that list, which is really all I remember was the outcome from step 5, and then 6 was looking at the list and saying, oh my God, when I'm operating on my own, when I'm in charge, when I'm running the show, this list is the principles I came here with, because we all come here with principles. But they were wrongly identified for me. So I had this list of all this shit that Karen's operating from. Aloofness, detachment, better than, less than. Is that insane? How can the same brain make me feel better than at times and then less than at times, depending on the situation, to serve my purpose, whatever I needed to get. It talks about in the 7th step that we come here with these principles that have us get what we think we need to get happy. We're trying to always derive the outcome in life. And we're trying to find the path that's going to get us to that happy spot. And then when drugs did it, when I was like 8 years old, first time I used drugs, and I felt it, that's the path I ran to. I just kept trying to find my way to that path, because I have a disease. So step 7 comes up, and I've got this list because I'm scared to death now, and I realize who I truly am. I can't deny the list anymore, and I'll tell you why. I didn't do the steps. This is like the first 2 years. My first 2 years in the room. I didn't do the steps 1 time. I didn't do them 2 times. I didn't do them 3 times. I did them 4 times. I remember the first time I did the steps with my sponsor when we got done, and I was relieved because I was waiting for the fairy dust to fall and to metamorphose into this beautiful butterfly from the caterpillar, and it didn't happen. I still could feel, I could identify unmanageability now. I knew exactly what it was. It's right here, and it goes, "Rah!" That's unmanageability. Anytime I feel that, something's not lined up in my world. Anytime. And I have the ability to change that, and I finally realized that through the steps. But I would use dope in the past. I would use people, money, shopping, chocolate cake, lasagna, whatever. Okay? So I'm sitting, so my sponsor, after the first time with the steps, she gives me a direction, and she says, and I had surrendered when I came back. I mean, my fuck yous turned into yes ma'ams. Okay? And that was the first probably 2 years of my recovery was yes ma'am, yes ma'am, yes ma'am, yes ma'am. What do I do now? Walk the dogs. My dogs didn't know. Anyways, that's a whole other story. I surrendered. I'd given up. I finally realized at 40-something years old, I didn't know shit about life. I didn't know how to make it through life. When we got done the first time, she said, I want you to listen to the women in the rooms, and I want you to find a woman you can relate to, and I want you to ask her to do the steps with you. And I said, yes, ma'am. And I did that. And I reported to her on a regular who it was, what we were doing, something new I found out. And when we got done, I was so excited, I thought I was done. Still waiting for the fairy dust, right? She says, honey, okay, I want you to listen to the women in the rooms, and I want you to find another woman that you can relate to, and I want you to ask her to do steps with you. Yes, ma'am. The fourth time when she told me that, I said, Dr. Lou, I am not going to not do this, and I've never asked you a question in the 2 years that you've been sponsoring me, but why am I doing this? And she said, the steps are the solution to living. And when life hits you between the eyes, the first thing I want you to do is go to the steps. And because I had practiced all the principles I came here with, my initial instinct when life hit me, whatever it was, I heard anytime, that's life hitting me, I had a choice. I could pull from the list, working independently, or I could lean on my higher power, the new list that was given to me, and I could work from that list. And that was my choice now. That was my choice. And I said, yes, ma'am, I'll do them. And I did. And I do that. So anyways, I get to the 7th step, and I've got this list of the truth of Karen. And the funny thing is each time I did the steps, the list grew. And I thought it couldn't grow anymore. But it grew, you know? And it humbled me because I realized by myself, this is what I have. This is all I have. And I saw me for who I truly was. Selfish, self-centered, wanting to do good for people, but there was always a motive and a reason behind why. I'm going to share a real quick story. There was a young lady that I used to go to her home. They were very, very poor. And I was working as a registered nurse here in the state of Georgia, smoking crack. It's lovely. And I would go and buy Simply orange juice because that was his favorite orange juice. And I would buy his favorite center cut chops because I knew he liked them. And I would bring toilet paper and paper towels because I know when I was in my full-blown addiction, because I didn't nurse for very long after I started using, I didn't have the ability to supply those things in my home as needed. If I lucked into them, I lucked into them. But that wasn't a focus in my life to go and make sure there's orange juice in the house or those things, you know. Anyways, I remember pulling up and saying, hey, Kenny, man, how you doing? He's sitting on his porch with his oxygen in his nose because he was sick. And, hey, Jake, I brought you your favorite orange juice and your favorite cut of pork chops, man, for Jolene to cook. Where is she? She's inside. Can I borrow your wife? And that was the sign of we were coming in because I not only had the orange juice and the pork chops, but I had the yard in my pocket, and we were going to go sit in that bathroom because I knew that she didn't have the funds and as quickly as so I could go there, and she would let me use her tools with her. I thought I was kind and caring and thoughtful bringing that orange juice, but there was something deeper. We would sit in that bathroom for 2 hours, smoking everything that... By that time, we were smoking the litter on the floor, you know. Yeah. But this man's on oxygen, you guys. You know, he's dying. Wasn't real caring, was it? It wasn't even about me just taking his wife and helping her use. That wasn't even the issue. How about I'm in this man's house? You know, Newport's going, everything's going, 3 and 4 at a time. You know, I wasn't caring and kind. So I became willing. And I said to the higher power, and that's why these steps are so important to do them in order, because if I had not done the work I had done up to step 7, I would have tried within my power to become willing, because that's what the steps said to do. It wouldn't have been humbly if I had not built my faith in something other than Karen. Okay, I wouldn't have been willing. I would have just been going through the motions because that's what the step told me to do. But I was humbled because I really saw me for who I was after step 6. And I did become willing, and I practiced some faith, and I practiced some trust. I believe higher power that you can remove these shortcomings. But it didn't just stop there, because remember I said I was waiting for that metamorphosis, that magical transformation. Doesn't happen. 911 has been to my house clean. I've pulled knives clean. I've busted shit in the house clean. Okay? I have a choice. Like I said, I either pull from this or I pull from this. The program just made me aware that I had an option that I didn't know I had. So then they said, make a list. Make a list of all these people that you feel you've harmed. Well, I thought, well, I'm just going to go to that resentment list because I realize now that the reason I was pissed off at them, some of it wasn't even real. Some of it was just some imagined shit, you know? Like, for real. You know, there was some true shit on there. My father, he beat the fuck out of me. My daddy beat me if I wore shorts because I was too fat as a kid. My father he was a rageaholic, and he would tear me down as a child, you know? And so I had daddy on the list in 4. Well, then when I was doing step work, I was told, well, you've got the principle of fatherhood. You have a resentment at, because you have this preconceived idea of how a father should treat a child, especially a daughter, because my image was daddies are supposed to protect their little girls. They should be the princesses. And I wasn't. I was in the dungeon, chained. So I thought, this is easy. Well, I've treated my father like shit. I can remember going to his house on holidays and cussing him out and doing dope in the car right there and just being hateful and mean because I was built up with all this anger. But what I found, and those people did fall on my list in the 8th step, because I had amends to make to them. And I can remember one night, share another quick story. I remember one night when I was in nursing school, I went back to school, and I was sitting there trying to do my homework, and my children were little, and they were screaming and carrying on. I couldn't get them to behave. And I remember calling up my daddy, and it was after 5 p.m., mistake number 1. That right there should have been my red flag that my motive was not right, because my daddy, first drink in is after 5. 5 o'clock, they're mixing, okay, every day. Here it is, 9 o'clock, they're drunk, okay? So that should have been first red flag. I know better than to call anybody. I'll call any drunk when they're, I'm manipulating. I didn't see it. And I remember calling him and saying, I'm so sorry for being such a bad kid, and la, 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 and all this crap. And he's like, baby, it's okay. You know Dad loves you, and you just need to do right. And then he wants to start giving me advice. That's my father. And I said, okay, Dad, bye. I didn't want that. I just wanted to unload because I was having this down here, and I couldn't identify it at the time. This is still when I'm doing those 4 women of steps. And I remember running to this woman who was helping me, and she did a lit study, and I would go to her lit study on top of the steps, and I remember running to her office and said, I did step 9. And she said, whoa, whoa, whoa. And she says, wait a minute. And short of the story is she said, first of all, what step are you on? And I said, step 4. Well, what the hell are you? No, and I think I told her I did step 8 when I ran in. She says, wait a minute, you actually called him or you wrote him on a list? And I said, I called him. Let me tell you what happened. And it's so amazing because he forgave me of everything. I'm free. And she said, baby, sit down. And she told me, she said, tell me what led up to it. And I explained to her, I was trying to do some homework, study for the test. The kids are acting out. I'm pissed off at them. I called Daddy because I realized what an ass I was as a child because the way my children are being an ass, and I unload on him. And she says, baby, you were just wanting some peace and serenity, and you were wanting to feel accepted because right then you were struggling over the homework. That's how bad my disease, and my disease will do those things because it'll take me off of the focus of what I need to do. And then when I don't do good at what I need to do because I'm trying to get a feel good and it doesn't work for long because I didn't do it the way it's supposed to be done. Nothing works right if I shortcut it. I've learned that. I end up using again. That's the outcome. So step 8, I remember one time though when we were talking about it with one of those ladies, and she made the comment to me, she says, is there anybody that you've harmed that was not on that step 4? And I said, what do you mean? And she said, well, did you steal from anybody that you're not pissed off at? And I had to really think about it. And I said, oh my God, well, there was this old man, girls. He had a credit card laying there, and I took it. And I went on a shopping spree. And yeah, I probably owe that man an amends. I mean, he knew it because by the 7th department store, when I went in to swipe, and they said, ma'am, we've got a message here. We're to secure this card and keep it. Obviously he knew that I was on a shopping spree. And I had to discuss it with him, and I don't know what I did. I probably gave him a blowjob or something to try to make it better, because that was what I did, okay? And that was the fix-it for me. That's what I knew. I learned that at a very young age, how to exploit my sexual God-given gifts. And I exploited them for years and years and years. So he went on the list. So I have this list now, and my idea of making amends was so off base, it isn't funny. I was supposed to go and tell people how sorry I was and see how good I'm doing. Look at me, Well, hell, remember I told you I was one of those functioning addicts? Half the people didn't know I was using them. The people that did was my family, my children, they knew. But people outside of the home, most of them didn't. I mean, I'm in college using it. Most of them didn't. So I remember it came time, the most important amends, and I'll share this just to give you an example. It came time, I had about a year and a half clean, and I was going, maybe a little over 2 years, somewhere in there. And we were going, my partner and I were going to a camp up in North Carolina. My parents were up there during the summer, down in South Florida in the winter. Not anymore until last year my father died. And I remember saying it's time to make an amends to my parents. And I said, what do I say? That's the first thing I learned is I don't come up with the discussion, the script. I don't create my script. I will screw it up. So I said, what do I say? I said to my sponsor, what do I say? And she said, this is what you do. You go and you sit them down. It doesn't matter what shape they're in, but if you can catch them sober, that'd be great. She said, but what you need to do is you need to sit them down and just say, hey, I'm an addict. And I have made some really poor choices. And I have to tell you some things because if I don't, I'll probably use again. And I said, I stole from you. And I manipulated you. And I lied to you. And I disobeyed things you said. I put on makeup when you told me not to. And I want you to know that I can't change any of that, but I recognize it today. And my desire today is to be the best daughter that I can be. And then I was told, that's it. I love you both very much. Thank you for hearing me. And my job then was to get up and walk away. It was not to turn into a discussion, I was told. It was simply for me to go to them and reveal the true Karen. The true Karen. And when I walked away from that, and it's amazing how my higher power will set up the circumstances for me to be able to make the amends. Like, my whole family was camping and everybody got up and walked away and went shopping or went and took a nap. And all of a sudden I looked around, it was just me and my folks sitting there, and I said, this must be the time. Thank you, God. And I did it. Steps 7, 8, 9 allow me, let me tell you real quick one more thing, and I'm going to let Melanie share her experience, strength, and hope. I had, when I was in nursing school, this young lady and I became best of friends. And she's one of those normal folk, like pay her bills on time, all the utilities are on legitimately all the time. There's always more than eggs, bread, mayonnaise, and bologna in the fridge. Okay? She was normal folk. Okay? And we became best friends. And we were Girl Scout leaders. I quit using for a period of 10 years. I went into the church. I know NA is not the only way, but for me, it is the only way, because that didn't work for me. But anyways, we were Girl Scout leaders. I was the leader, she was the co-leader. We're both very OCD. We were like Beverly Hillbillies troop. Y'all seen the movie, right? That was us. Well, I had to have a lot of personal information because we were responsible for lots of money and stuff with the Girl Scout cookie sales, which are like right now, I think. Oops, outside issue. But I love me a Samoa. Anyways, I stole her identity. I ended up relapsing and using, and I stole her identity because I had all her driver's license numbers, social security numbers, and I turned utilities on. in her name at my house because I was heating water on a camp stove for my children to bathe. So I turned the water on. I didn't talk to her for years. We never discussed that. She never approached me about it. I ended up going to jail. I ended up in PDC for, I was a couple years locked up when you put it all together. And I was gone. And we reconnected the beginning of last year, Facebooking, and her daughter was getting married. Her daughter and my oldest daughter are the same age. They grew up together. We spent 7 years together. We were both single women, raising our children, working as nurses, graduated together, blah, blah, blah. And she said, Karen, this big seafood house where we live is supposed to be catering her wedding, and they're not getting back with us. And I do some catering. I love to cook. I am the cook. And she said, would you cater the wedding? And I said, let's talk about it. And they all came over. Anyways, I went to my sponsor, and I talked to her about it, and I said, I stole this woman's identity. I don't know if she knows, but she's being real nice to me. She hasn't said anything to me. I don't know if she knows. I'm really feeling some kind of way, because there's that part. Now that I've learned how to get naked in front of people, not physically, it's ugly. Thank God for plastic surgery. But anyways, outside issue. I was feeling uncomfortable, a little uncomfortable about this. And my sponsor says, do it, but don't tell her anything until after the wedding, because you don't want this woman who her only child is fixing to be married to be preoccupied in her mind about you stole her identity and you don't even know what the outcome was because you ended up getting locked up. You know how what happens, utilities stay on and on and on, and they progress and they multiply and they're thousands of dollars, right? I don't know what happened. I never talked about it. Never said anything to her. And I bought her this thing as a gift for the wedding, for the mother, as the mother of we did this wedding. I recruited some home group members to do the wedding. I am the activity person. And we did a wedding for 200 people. And I didn't charge her a penny. She bought the food and all that. We went shopping, but for my and I paid these people. I paid some people because we have two little businesses that we have, and we have people that work for us, and it's nothing big, trust me. But we paid some of these people salary to be there, or payroll to be there. And we paid that out of pocket, and whatever, just did it. And we do the cocktail party before, whatever it is, the thing where they, the reception, and then we'd sit down dinner, and we did it. And it was gorgeous, you guys. And I pulled her off to the side, and I took another friend of ours, mutual friend, because I just needed for her support, not mine. I already knew the pain I was going through. I knew what I was fixing to say to her. And I remember saying, Wanda, I can't tell you how much friendship means. And it just blows me away. I know you're a true friend because we lost contact for several years. And when we came back together, it was like we had never been separated. We were that close. And we're that way today. It's amazing. I said, but I need to tell you, I stole your identity. Now, she has a few wine drinks and stuff occasionally. She's normal folk, remember? She can do the half a glass and leave it alone. I don't understand that shit. And so she'd had one or two, and I said, Wanda, I said, I stole your identity in whatever year it was, 2002. This was last year. It's 13 years later. I said, and then when I got locked up, I don't even know what happened. And I can see her as I'm telling her and I'm looking at her. She's steady smiling, and I know what a fake smile looks like. And it wasn't that it was fake. It was like she just was plastered because she was so overwhelmed with this information. And she's smiling, and I recognize it because I did it many times in my act of using. And she's smiling, and I'm steady having to tell her. And Vicky, our mutual friend, knew that I was going to, because I'd asked Vicky to please be there to support Wanda. I didn't want her to fucking co-sign me and say, she means better, Wanda, and all that. That wasn't the purpose. I wanted to be there for Wanda because they're very good friends. We all three of us. And I told her, and she looked at me and she said, I've done that for years. I forgave you a long time ago. Wow. Let me tell you, this program has changed my life. I do things wrong constantly. I lie on a regular, sometimes intentionally and sometimes not. I'm clean. I'm not perfect. And I've accepted me as that. It's okay. I don't kick my ass anymore and feel like I have to high and lie. I just go and make this shit right. And that's what, but I had to do steps 1 through 6 and see the truth of Karen so that I could do 7 and 8 and make shit right. So at night when I lay down, I don't even have to worry about what the world thinks about me. I gotta go to bed with this and this little thing down here that goes rawr. And most of the time it's quiet these days. It doesn't yell at me near as much as it has in the past. I ask and I hope that if you are new or if you have not done the steps and you're not so new, we have a fella in our home group, 18 years clean, and has never worked the steps. And you should come to Group Conscience and hear him. He is bitching about everything. I recognize unmanageability now because it's been identified for me. I'll close with this. The steps have transformed me. They have. I know I'm approachable today. I know people see the real Karen. Yeah, I like to dress up. I like to wear cute shoes. I love some lipstick. Uh-oh. But I know there's a time and a place. You know, I'm 50 plus years old and I dress 50 plus. I don't have to dress like 20. You know, I've always tried to feel better even by the way I dressed. And that's what the program's done. I remember this old guy, he's got 35 years, I think it's 50. He's forever. He's an icon in our recovery community down where I'm from. He walked up to me. I had about 3 years clean, and he said, "My God, you're finally approachable." That is the miracle. Today, I don't have to go to meetings. I get to go to meetings. That is a miracle. Today, I don't have to cook dinner. I get to cook dinner. That is the miracle. Don't quit 5 minutes before the miracle happens and quit trying to define the miracle. I urge anyone to start as quickly as your sponsor and you are ready. And if you don't have a sponsor, get one. Women, she'll save your life. Men, he'll save your life. This program will change your life because it has mine. My home group is the KCB group, Keep Coming Back group, down in Brunswick, Georgia. We meet Monday, Tuesday, Friday night at 7 p.m., Saturday night at 8 o'clock. If you're ever down that way, please look us up and come join us. Please come see us. I'm grateful to my sponsor today, my family, my recovery family, my predecessors. I'm grateful for them today. I don't resent them today and think I know more. Thank you all very much for letting me share.
Hey, I'm Melanie. I'm Addict. Hey. I'm truly grateful to be clean and truly grateful to be here. Thankful to the GRCNA committee for asking me to share and get me out of my comfort zone. You know, I find it easy to sit out there and look up, and you know, anytime I'm asked to do service, it's an honor. You know, I'm truly grateful because this program has saved my life. You know, I'm truly grateful for the newcomer. I pray that you continue to stay and hear a message. You know, thank you for sharing that. You know, I remember, you know, when I first came in and, you know, just freaking out, you know, of just working the steps, period. You know, but I took the suggestions that was given to me. You know, they told me to come in and find a sponsor, you know, find a home group, work steps. And they told me don't use no matter what. You know, and all those things has been working in my life. You know, I've done everything that they've asked me to do, you know, because I listen to people tell me how to use, how to do this and how to do that. So, you know, we come in here and we want to find it hard to follow these simple suggestions that they give us, you know, and coming up, you know, on step 7, you know, I don't know about y'all, but I didn't feel like I had any shortcomings. You know, I didn't have any problems. You know, it was you, not me, you know, and when I, you know, worked the steps all the way through, you know, I was looking for that magic stuff to fall to. I was looking for to be free, you know, but they told me to keep living, you know, and keep coming, you know. And so recently this week, you know, I had to really get humble and look at step 7. It like came forefront to my face because, you know, I got squared off with my boss and she really pissed me off, you know, and I really wanted to curse her out. And I haven't cussed nobody out in 15 years, you know, like literally like cussed them out. And I really wanted to curse her out. And, you know, people, you know, laugh every time I say a cuss word or whatever. It was like, Melanie, you just don't even sound like saying those words. And, but she really pissed me off. And I really wanted to quit. And I really just wanted to cuss her out. I really wanted to call her out her name. And so, you know, I had to get away. I had to get up and go to my office and pray. You know, because I'm learning today that, you know, what comes up doesn't have to come out. You know, even though I might be thinking it in my head, you know, I don't have to say it. But then I have to go back, and even though I thought it, I still have to ask for forgiveness for that, because I'm thinking something that I should not be thinking, you know. And so I went in there in my office and I prayed, and, you know, I was able to go back and attend this meeting and not cuss her out, even though I'm sitting there looking at her like, you know, the nerve of you, you know, you just pissed me off, and then you like call me out in front of everybody. I don't know, I just feel, you know, that day my feelings was on my shoulder and I was just feeling what was me. And so I'm sitting there and I'm still looking at her, giving her the evil eye, and she can tell that I was pissed off with her, but I'm just grateful that I didn't have to act on that today, you know. And so I was able to finish the meeting and go home. And, you know, after the meeting, I had to talk to a lot of more people. I had to talk about that for a long time, and I'm still having to talk about it, you know. And, you know, I can get caught up and get built up about things like how it's going to play out, what I'm going to say, what I'm going to do. But then when God steps in, it's like, this is what's going to happen, this is how it's going to go, and this is what you're going to say. You know, and I'm grateful today. I'm grateful for the program. I'm grateful for sponsorship, because, you know, not having a sponsor and working the step, then I will be still stuck on me. You know, it's all about me. I don't have a problem, you do. You know, and I'm still trying to fix your stuff and not work on me. You know, and you know, the 7 steps talking about, you know, we humbly ask them to remove our shortcomings, and, you know, my sponsor had me look up a lot of words. You know, a lot of words that I thought that I knew, you know, the meaning of, I really didn't. Because, you know, I really thought, you know, I really didn't know what I thought shortcoming meant. But, you know, it's a lack of, you know, feeling less than. You know, when I came in, I did feel less than. You know, people always told me how I should feel, how I should walk, how I should talk, how I should act, you know, all that kind of stuff. But, you know, I didn't know how I should feel. You know, it took me a long time to realize how I should feel. You know, today I know when things do not feel right. Today I know when you make me mad, and I can tell you that you made me mad, and I don't have to, you know, get cocked and loaded and just nut up. You know, I don't have to do that today. You know, orange, I like orange, but I don't like the orange that they wear when you're in jail, prison, to wear. I don't like that orange. So, you know, I always remind myself when, you know, I want to jump in the driver's seat and say, I got this, you know, and I want to take control. You know, I'm learning today. You know, even with 15 years clean, I still am teachable today. You know, I am no better than, and I'm not no less than. You know, I can dress up the outside, and if I'm not working on the inside, my outside can look just as worse. You know, and I am approachable today. You know, I'm truly grateful for the newcomers. You know, these ladies see me every day, in rare form sometimes. But the thing about it is, I let them know that if I can do it, you can do it. You know, that's why I wanted them to experience this. You know, a convention coming here and get the experience that I remember at 30 Days Clean, coming to a convention, and I was just like, whoa.
Yeah. Yeah.
All these people, whoa.
Yeah.
And I'm grateful that God has placed me in a place where I'm able to live my recovery out loud. I work for a place that allows me to do that. I'm truly grateful. Who would ever thunk that? I'm truly grateful for that. And that's humbling in itself, because I don't walk around as like, with this S on my chest and like I'm Superwoman, because, at any given day, I'm no better than, I'm just that addict that needs that hug, or I'm that addict that needs somebody to listen to me, or I'm that person that going through, because, I remember at 18 months clean, losing my mother and, not knowing what to do, but I came in and I, grabbed my home group and they rocked me through that. My sponsor, they rocked me through that. Everything that I've gone through since I've been clean, I haven't had to do it alone. I'm so grateful that this is not a I program, this is a we program. I don't have to do anything alone, unless I choose to, and I've learned today that, I am not unique. I don't have all the stuff together. I can't do this by myself. I know that I can't, we can, and I think I'm gonna let him. And I always remind myself that, because I need God. I need you, I need God, and I need others to help me to do what I need to do. Also, working on step 8, I was freaking out about that as he, because, it's like, my sponsor had to break it down. She's like, baby, all you're doing is making a list, willing and making that list, and, it's like by the time I got there, the stuff I had on the 4th step, then I got to the 8th step, it's like, good Lord, I had to add some more stuff. Because, I had did some, I had done some more stuff since I've been in the rooms, clean, and I had to add a lot of more stuff to that list. And so today, I try to make sure that I try, with God and others. God first is that, so I won't have to keep adding people to that list. It's like I'm trying to keep clearing that list. Do I always do it right? No, I don't. This is not. I don't always do it right.
I mean, Brian, is there a Rebecca Star machine? Your credit card.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Yeah. Everybody's. That's a blessing. Everybody. But yeah, just making that list, and kind of lost my thought there, but that's okay. I'm just glad you got it. I know the feeling. Right here in the book, just talking about the 8 step, it's not easy. It demands a new kind of honesty about relations with other people. And that's one thing, another thing I've learned, that when I lose my train of thought, I can always go here, and I can just pick right back up, because the thing about it is that this is the basic. Yep. That's one thing I have always stuck with, is that I've stayed in the middle of the boat. So when life shows up, because, newcomer, life is going to show up. And the thing about it is that that's why I stay in the middle, because when things show up and things happen, I don't have to worry about falling off, and I can always go in here and get what I need. I can always call somebody and get what I need, no matter what's going on in my life. Right here it's talking about if we are careless and fail to grasp the spiritual meaning of this step, we may have difficulty stir up old troubles. One's danger is being too hard on ourselves. I don't have to come here and beat myself up today. If people want to hold on to the things that I've done in the past, then that's on them. The thing about it is that I'm not looking back, because if I continue to look back, I can't move forward. And I know that God has so much more in store for me, that's why I love this program. I'm truly grateful. And they always tell me that a grateful addict don't use no matter what. You know, I'm able to take my own inventory today and look at what I need to work on. Because when I first got here, like I said, I was so busy pointing out all the things that you did wrong and that I didn't like, you know, and that I kept the focus off of myself. You know, I'll never forget that I had this person that used to like irritate me the most, and he still does. I'm just able to deal with it. You know, I don't feel the need to have to rebel or retaliate every time that he decided to share something or say something, you know, or with anyone. You know, I don't feel that I have to have a rebuttal every time that you say something, you know, and that's working on me today. Because, you know, before it's like, I'm right, you wrong. Never, I'm wrong, you right. You know, it took a minute, you know, to do that. Even, you know, getting married, you know, to a person that's in the room, and my predecessor, and been here for a minute, and, you know, we can agree to disagree today, and I'm grateful for that. You know, I'm grateful that he has a sponsor and it's not me, and vice versa. And, you know, the thing about it is that he can't work my program and I can't work his. And the thing about it is that just because you've been here longer than I have doesn't mean that you're right, and vice versa. That's when I always let people know I am just as humble as you are. I am just like the newcomer. You know, I continue to want to learn, you know, because I don't know it all. I don't know everything. You know, anybody can teach me. Even a newcomer keeps showing me that, you know, just one more is just not enough for me today. You know, it teaches me that I don't want to go back out there and experiment. You know, it lets me know that it's not getting any better. Because my disease, she likes to dress things up. She'll tell me that it's okay to do one more, you know. And I can feel you. Going to meetings didn't keep me clean. You know, it doesn't keep me clean. It's about doing the work. You know, I have to work my butt off. You know, I have a sponsor who has a sponsor who has a sponsor. And I'm grateful for sponsorship, you know, because my sponsor don't let me sit there and just not call her. You know, I still have to call my sponsor today. I still have to do book work today. You know, it was funny. Last night we was talking on the phone because, you know, I was calling her, you know, and, you know, we was talking about because I had to speak, and she's like trying to figure out how she can get here, how she can leave work. And I was like, look, it's not that serious, you know. Once I go in there and just talk about me, even today I'm like freaking out, like, oh Lord, I got to do this. And so the therapist's like, all you got to do is just talk about you. And I was like, but sometimes that's just not easy. It's just not that easy. It's easy when I'm in a circle, like I said, but we was talking about getting together next weekend, and, you know, I was like, so are we still getting together next weekend? She was like, well, yeah, why not? I was like, but that's Valentine's. And she was like, and I had to laugh, and I was like, okay. And I'm like that, yes ma'am, okay, I'll see you next week. You know, doing the next right thing even when I don't want to do it. You know, I have to commute. Well, I don't have to. I commute to do step work with my sponsor. You know, I drive to Atlanta once a month and meet with my sponsor to do book work. You know, and that's a privilege. That's an honor because I want what she has to offer. You know, she has helped me understand the program, the steps, and she continues to guide me and lead me. You know, and I'm grateful for that. You know, I strongly suggest that, you know, if you don't have a sponsor, get one. If you have one, use them. You know, because not only they help you, you help them. You know, it's each one teach one. You know, and like I said, you know, just learning how to accept people for where they are. You know, because people had to accept me because I was like a handful, and some days I still can be. You know, I can still get cocked and loaded and act out. You know, I try to stay spiritual grounded. I try to stay focused, but sometimes things, I can't say people because people can only do what I allow them to do to me today. I can't continue to play that victim role, even though sometimes I like to play it, but if I'm truly working the program as honest as I possibly can, I was not the victim. I was really the participant. I allowed it to happen. People can only do what I allow them to do to me. So today I choose not to be anybody's doormat. Today I choose to be that wife, that mother, that employer, a friend, a sister, a sponsor, sponsee. I'm truly grateful for this program. And step 9, when I first got here, I wanted to just run out and tell everybody, that I was sorry. And then after I worked the steps and I read, and it was like, that's not what you're supposed to do. That's why they suggest you get with a sponsor before you go do all this stuff. And, for me, I said sorry so many times and just not meaning it. I'm just sorry that, hey, I'm sorry I didn't get caught. I'm sorry that, I did whatever. But, it's just doing something different, being that action, showing that, today I don't have to do things over and over and over and over again, doing the same thing, expecting different results. That's just crazy. So when I got to that step, it was, I don't know. I just made sure that I stayed in constant contact with my sponsor when I got to that step, because everybody wasn't willing to accept my amends, and I was okay with that. The thing about it is that I was willing to do my part, and when I saw the fit to make those amends, I made those. So that's the reason it's important to have a sponsor to help you to go over these things, because you don't want to open up wounds that might be closed, or might not, or a person might not even know. But one of my biggest amends, I was able to make, and it was a tough one because I hadn't gotten to that step and I hadn't worked the step. But like I said, my mother. I remember her coming to the crack house and knocking on the door and asking for me. I remember those days. And at this point, we had just celebrated my year, and that's when I found out that she was very sick, and she was not going to get any better. But I didn't know the exact nature of how sickly she was. And she was able to celebrate my first year with me, and we went to the cabin and all that kind of good stuff, and had the cake and all that kind of stuff, and it was really nice. And it was weighing on me then to do it, but I've learned how to follow some suggestions. I wasn't there yet, and I was not ready to make that amend, even though my heart was like, just say you're sorry, And so after, I celebrated my first year clean, and, after working with my sponsor, and I was like, asking her, well, can I go ahead and do it now? I want to make sure that, I say this to her, before she dies, just to let her know that it was her prayers that got me here. And I'm grateful that she never turned her back on me. She was like my biggest enabler, could never see any wrong, and she just wanted her daughter back. And I was able to make that amends before she died. And one of the promises that I made, and that's why I love this program so much, is that, I remember, seeing her knocking on the door and on peeping. I'm like, I tell her I'm not here. And knowing she just saw me walk in the house, but I'm still telling them to tell her that I'm not there. But she never gave up. She never gave up. She continued to pray and like tell me I need to come to church and all that kind of stuff. And I was just, I'm not ready. But one of the promises that I made, and I continue to keep that, is that, no matter what goes on, I will not use. And like I told y'all, I've been clean 15 years, and my mom has been deceased 13 years. And I continue to do the next right thing, even when I don't want to. I'm truly grateful for my home group. I'm truly grateful for my sponsor, because they rocked me through that. Now, I've gone through some more crazy and worse things since then, but that was like one of the difficult things that I've gone through clean. Not even going to go down the road about my 26-year-old son that drove me nuts, but, and still driving me nuts, But I'm truly grateful for this program, because I don't go through anything alone. And I share this to let people know that, because, you have, I've already built these reservations, if this happened, I'm going to do that, or if that happened. Well, all those this and that has happened in my life since I've been clean. I lost my mother early on at 18 months clean. I had almost 6 years clean. I lost a job or something like that. Clean. Lost a job clean. Because I got honest and went to them and say, look, okay, I had a wreck in my car and they suspended my CDL license. Did the honest thing. I knew when they ran their driver's license, so I didn't have to tell them, but I told them. And they decided to let me go. And I was okay with that. Because if that had not happened, then I wouldn't be where I am today. And I still continue to have that close network with those people, and they still want me to come back and work, and I'm like, I'm good where I'm at. But I'm truly grateful that this program has worked, if I work it. I'm truly grateful for you guys being here early in the morning to listen to me share, even when I didn't think I had anything to talk about. I pray that somebody heard something that can help them. I know this has helped me get free. It helped me to look at some things that, that God just keep, showing. I couldn't remember what I had to talk about, and then I was like, and then I was sitting there this morning, while I was waiting, I was here like early just praying, like I told you, and this week, God set me still. I had to sit still for a minute. Monday I got sick, and I'm like already cocked and loaded, freaking out, like, okay, God, I gotta speak. That's your convention. I can't have the flu. And so I go to the doctor, and the doctor's like, well, good news, you don't have the flu. You got flu-like symptoms. So, had to give, and he couldn't give me any medicine, and I was like, okay, so what am I going to do? I got to get better. I got to go to this convention. And, but I had to sit still and listen to God. Because before that happened, I told you I was cocked and loaded, and I was about ready to quit my job, and I didn't tell you that I had been sending out resumes as well while I'm pissed off at my supervisor. So, I'm sitting there looking at her, and we sitting in a meeting, and I'm sending out resumes, and I'm pissed off, and I'm like, and then I get sick Monday, and So it gave me time because I was, Monday I was going to go meet with her so I can tell her how I felt. That, all that sick thinking, I bent up the picture because I had all weekend to think about what I was going to say and how I was going to say it and how I was going to present it. And Monday, she was not available. I went to her office, she wasn't there. And that was just God doing for me what I couldn't do for myself. And then I get sick. And then I was out a couple of days. And then I returned on Thursday. And then she calls me. And what I thought I was going to say and what I had planned to say, God said something totally different. And I'm truly grateful that I allowed God to step in and not Melanie. Because I'll probably be unemployed today and not be able to be here. But I'm just truly grateful. Thank y'all for allowing me to share.
Thank you.